I think there's a very interesting constitutional question looming for Suella Braverman, and I think possibly an opportunity for her resignation. So at a constituency meeting, note, Miss Braverman was confronted by a Holocaust survivor, Joan Salter. And Joan Salter asked why Braverman's language was so salty. She asked why, she pointed out that sort of language would have consequences and was dangerous, and asked Braverman to explain why she was using that language. Now, a video of Miss Salter's question and an edited version of Suella Braverman's complete refusal to retract any of the language that she's used, particularly words like invasion, was posted by the Freedom from Torture charity, a charity which had previously been called the Medical Aid for the Foundation of Victims of Torture. And this charity has been asked to take down the video by the Home Office. Now, as far as I can see, Suella Braverman was speaking to her constituents as their constituency MP, not as the Home Secretary. Therefore, the Home Office has overstepped its brief, and significantly overstepped its brief in a bullying and aggressive way. The demand that the Freedom from Torture people should remove the video they posted is simply shocking. The Home Secretary attended an event last night and took questions, including on immigration policy. Footage of a conversation with a Holocaust survivor is circulating online. The video has been heavily edited and doesn't reflect the full exchange. Well, that is partly true, but actually, that footage is a modest version of the original. I posted the original. I posted the edited version. The Home Office goes on to say, official, since the footage misrepresents the interaction about a sensitive area of policy, we have asked the organisation who posted the video to take it down. This is the sort of aggressive interaction, the aggressive actions of a tyrannous state, a tyrannous regime. This is the sort of posts that I would expect to see from Putin's Kremlin, not from my government in the UK. I am simply appalled by this aggressive and disgraceful overreaching of their office and the threat that is implicit in this exchange. Freedom from Torture have quite rightly reposted the demands from the Home Office, and Suella Braverman, of course, is busy bombarding the internet with any other story that she can possibly find. It won't wash. Braverman has gone too far, and she has infected other people within her ministry with the same sort of contempt for ordinary people. So she talked about an invasion. She talked very generally about Albania. Generic talks about people looking for Albanians. Albanians in your cupboard. I mean, it's outrageous when so many Albanians are contributing very positively to the way our society works. So many. And this is the way we treat an entire nation. It is contemptuous. Now, I remember a short while ago, Crown Prince Leka broke silence and spoke out against the injudicious language of the Home Secretary, and yet, even that has not made her backtrack or think twice about what she says. This emotive scramble to see who can be the most aggressive online, on television, at the dispatch box in the House of Parliament is not a way to distract from the complete chaos that our government at the moment is making of the post-Boris, its post-Boris tenure. Yes, I know. The government was distracted and did nothing over the summer, and everything fell to pieces. I still think that Boris had to go. I also still think that Mrs. May was the person with whom the rot set in. I also still think that power went to the head of David Cameron, and he was too arrogant to know quite what he was doing in calling a referendum. But that is history, and it's now incumbent on Rishi Sunak to pull his troops together and get the act back on the road. We cannot face 2 years of misery and self-adulation and introspection from a government that is not doing its job and not sorting out the serious problems that matter. The immigration issue is serious because the Home Office hasn't done its job. The Home Office has not processed a myriad number of applications for asylum. And until it does that, we will still have a problem, and there will still be a need to house people in hotels or in other accommodation. It's unreasonable, it's unfair when it's the Home Office that's not doing its job. And it is completely outrageous that the Home Office should distract attention by obsessing about Albania, about invasion, and trying to pass the buck. The buck is they need to do their job. And if they can't do their job, they need to be replaced. It's so simple. It's almost as simple as getting rid of the majority of bureaucrats who have failed in the NHS. We need a serious reboot, and much of it is about bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, when it comes down to it, is simply rule by the desk, rule by a block of wood, a piece of paper. I prefer to be ruled by an individual who can make a decision. And if Rishi Sunak cannot make a decision, then he needs to resign along with people like Braverman. But Braverman, I think, should be at the top of the list of resignations.